Hey, what ya? Where are you in this district anyway? You were in the Galactic North the last I saw you.
Yeah, we were chasing a Tyranid splinter fleet. Another fortress took over our position. We think the fleet died off mid-flight as it crashed into the ghoul stars, which, they tend to avoid.
Huh. That makes some sense. Not much, but some, I suppose. We just got lucky, didn't we?
Almost like someone writes our existence and can choose who we run into and when, right?
Darren, what did I say about breaking the fourth wall?
Right, that Custodes with the multiple accents broke reality once by mentioning the wall you talk about, right?
Yeah, wait. You weren't there for that. Did you watch my videos?
No, he showed up and told me about it. Weird thing with him. Kept mentioning Zinchian abominations and older shield hosts and how there's a new shield host that's some weird environmental nuts.
Oh, that's my Custodes army. Neat.
Didn't you already do a Custodes video? Did you ever review the codex itself? Is that what we're talking about today? A lot late for that, aren't you?
You know, I was actually starting this script with that in mind, but you're correct. It's way too late to review this codex, especially since it's been almost a year. You know what? Yeah, you're a Space Marine and Iron Warrior, so built different than others.
There was one paragraph about those things. They're not worth bringing up.
Look, it might be a single paragraph, but it told enough. Some of those women survived for way too long, and you were all in your late teens or early 20s.
Okay, let's not talk about the homuncula. We're going to talk about the process to make a Space Marine. Now, this will be talking about all parts to a Space Marine, including the extra steps in the Space Wolves and Blood Angels and the 3 organs in a Primaris body. Space Marines, whether forced into subscription or voluntarily joining, start the process at about 10 years of age, right before puberty. There's an important reason for that that's only really implied in books. The masculine hormones are necessary to make all extra organs work, but the indoctrination and training keeps an Astartes focused on killing their target instead of the ass of that one guard over there. Now, Phase 0 is only a step for the Space Wolves. They start by adding the Canis Helix. Like the Blood Angels Stage 20, both factions drink literal blood of their Primarchs, which cause some,
side effects.
In the case of the Blood Angels, they become vampires. We'll touch on this one later, though, because there's more to it. For the Space Wolves, though, it slowly mutates their bodies to make them more canine, sometimes becoming wolfen, and some becoming the Wolves of Fenris, which doesn't have wolves. Phase 1 comes in next or first for all Space Marines. At 10 years old, a boy has a second heart installed into their body. Now, this is to make sure all extra organs can survive and get oxygen needed, and to keep a Marine moving if one gets damaged. But this would theoretically lead to other issues, essentially immunity to heart attacks and palpitations, and even make issues with poisons in the body, since there's extra muscle and not extra kidneys or livers. Osmodula is the second phase. This thing boosts hormones to make the skeleton grow. It can make the bones spread out further and strengthen them, essentially turning the cage that is the rib cage into a chest plate for the hearts and lungs. In some chapters, specifically the Salamander successors, the Black Dragons, this can be a hyperactive organ, leading to the skeleton overgrowing the flesh and tearing out in various places like the arms, spine, and skull. Of course, with bone growth hormones, you need muscle growth hormones too. It comes in phase 3. the biscopia. This organ is placed in the chest and it boosts the muscle growth of a Marine. It has a bit of a side effect, making it so Space Marines can lie dormant for a while and not lose any muscle mass too. But it also leads to a lot of fat being burned out of the body. Now, Phase 3 has some sub-phases for Primaris only. Alpha is the sinew coils, which strengthen the muscles even further, essentially giving a Space Marine an iron grip. Beta brings in the Magnificat, which is just below the brain. This organ communicates with the previous bone and muscle growth organs to keep them working for further upgrades needed. But it also has a secret second job. It's a Primarch organ, which I can't find any information on, so I don't know what it does, but it's apparently very important, doing something to Primaris brains. Two things, actually, to the right half and the left half, but information about what it does to the left lobe of the brain is erased from the settings records. Another Primaris organ, which apparently can be plugged in at any point in this step, is the Belsarius Furnace. This organ connects both hearts and can release chemicals that essentially cause the body to run off pure adrenaline and mend itself rapidly. This organ sort of dies every time it's used, needing a long rest period in order to activate again. Could argue that this specifically causes the Othamomon effect. Now, Phase 4, the Hemaestamon. This organ essentially boosts blood making and makes said blood work better. Without this organ, really the muscle growth organ wouldn't work, and this organ wouldn't exist without the bone growth one. Lerman's organ is Phase 5 and is a tiny liver in the chest, meant to create new cells that essentially kill diseases and fix wounds super fast. So, it's blood, but better blood. Catalepsian nodes are put into the brain in Phase 6. This organ does a lot of things. It's all around sleep, though. It allows a Marine to work on only 4 hours of sleep a day, and if they can't sleep because of war, they can sleep while warring and still war. Preomnor is the poison killer in Phase 7, allowing a Marine to survive eating shit they shouldn't eat. The Omophagia connects the brain and the stomach so that a Marine can experience the memories of a person if the Marine eats their flesh. The Blood Drinkers use this to skip training, while the Blood Angels have an overactive remembrancer organ that may connect directly to the fact that they drink their Primarch's blood and can experience those last moments. The Multi-Lung lets a Space Marine breathe underwater and survive in toxic environments. For some reason, this has never been used in any of the books to any level. The Oculobe lets a Marine process more through sight, including essentially video game vision. Along with that, the Lineman's Ear does similar, hyper-focusing on sound so that they can hear who farted where on the battlefield. It also prevents vertigo. In Phase 12 comes the Susan membrane. This organ, with some treatment, allows a Marine to fall asleep if they enter an unsurvivable situation. Takes a lot to get the hibernator to work. The melanchromatic organ is the reason salamanders are black. It darkens the skin under extreme lights and radiations, and Nocturne is very radioactive. Oolitic kidneys should be put into the body a lot earlier, but it's an extra stronger kidney, I mentioned with the second heart situation. While the Neuroglottis allows a Space Marine to taste every ingredient in something they eat. With the Remembrancer, they can tell you what brand of soap you use. Mucranoid is a sweat gland that allows the Space Marine to survive extreme heat and cold, and even the vacuum of space, but it doesn't auto-activate. A Marine needs some work before it'll start, but the Becher's gland is an organ that can happen automatically and allows a Marine to spit literally acid. Sometimes a Marine under stress will accidentally kill an ally with it. The progenoids are 2 organs that take 5 to 10 years to mature, and allow a chapter to make more organs. Without these, the chapter dies. So, one is taken out of Marine after the 5-year mark, and the other upon death. Now, the last upgrade is the Black Carapace, which is a second skin under a Space Marine skin, allowing their bodies to communicate with the armor's machine spirit, and also gives them an extra layer of defense. But the Blood Angels have a phase 20, the Insanguination. They drink blood and then take a year-long nap in a coffin filled with blood. If they don't sleep for the whole fucking year, they get turned into an Astartes Servitor, which was a model before the 10th edition Space Marine Codex released for some reason. Now, I've been ranting about this for quite some time now. We've got to get going, so shove off.